This is Ingenuity. In this episode, Rolls-Royce released their Phantom 2. The Formula One season is up and running. We look at the Geneva Motor Show and the Spanish Seat. But first, GMC is expanding its exclusive Denali sub-brand with the debut of the 2013 Terrain Denali. With 7 models in the small SUV class, sales for Denali, the brand within a brand, increased 79% from 2010 to 2011. With this in mind, GMC have created a more upscaled Terrain, and with it a new power plant. A 3.6-litre V6 engine with direct injection and continuously variable valve timing, replacing the current 3-litre V6 engine in the Terrain lineup. SAE certified at 224 kilowatts and 369 newton-meters of torque, this engine is expected to increase power output while offering the same fuel economy as the older power plant. Terrain's standard Ecotec 2.4-litre i4 4-cylinder engine will also be available. Front-wheel drive is standard, with all-wheel drive available for both engines. The 2013 model Terrain Denali comes standard with many interface electronics, including an infotainment system with voice command, Bluetooth smartphone integration, internet radio apps and iPod controls. Other features include forward collision alert and lane departure warnings. They use the industry's first single-camera crash avoidance system to visually and audibly warn drivers when a collision is imminent or the vehicle crosses a lane marker. Also side blind zone and rear cross traffic alert, using radar to watch spots the driver may not be able to see, plus a programmable power lift gate. Pricing and availability of the 2013 Terrain Denali will be determined later in the year. Some of you may be young enough to remember this.
Man, I'll tell you, Indy's never seen a driver like this. Hey, when he hits the craters and starts bouncing is when he gets his rooster tail. He makes sharp turns.
The lunar rover of the Apollo era, the most expensive car ever built, and 3 of them remain double parked on the moon. What is most interesting about these vehicles is their tires. According to NASA and Goodyear engineers who developed the original Apollo lunar mission, spring tires were driven by the fact that traditional rubber air-filled tires used on Earth have little use on the moon. This is because rubber properties vary significantly between the extreme cold and hot temperatures experienced on the moon. Also, direct solar radiation degrades rubber, and pneumatic tires pose a high risk of deflating on the moon. In 2010, Goodyear was honored with the R&D 100 award for its spring tire technology. Goodyear continues to run tests on spring tire in its R&D laboratories to determine potential applications for this technology. The Goodyear spring tire, which was co-developed by NASA, offers 800 load-bearing springs and is designed to carry heavy vehicles over much greater distances than the wire mesh tire used on the lunar rover. The airless tire could allow for broad exploration and potential development of future outposts on the Moon and Mars, or possibly allow vehicles to travel to places on Earth where current tires could never go. With outstanding sales figures from last year, Rolls-Royce is ploughing ahead with a new model which is being shown at the Geneva Motor Show.
Rolls-Royce is a true British success story, and we have seen great and tremendous growth over the last years, plus 200% since the last 2 years. And in the meantime, Rolls-Royce is one of the major contributors here, especially in the south of the UK, with over 1,000 people working for Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, and we can be happy that this company is so successful. We are launching at Geneva Motor Show the Phantom Series 2, a significantly updated family of motor cars. Since its launch in 2003, Phantom was immediately the pinnacle of automotive luxury. And to maintain that position in future, because the world has changed, we have introduced a lot of changes in the true sense of Sir Henry Royce saying, take the best and make it even better. So we've changed the whole front of the car, including a complete new set of LED headlights. We have improved the whole drivetrain with a new transmission, which makes an even or gives an even smoother ride with Phantom. And we have also improved heavily the total electronic system and the connectivity between driver and car, including a complete new navigation system. We are exporting currently 90% of all our cars manufactured here in Goodwood, which is great. We have seen big growth in the Asian markets, but also still in North America and also in the Middle East. So you can say 10% of the volume stays here in Britain and the rest is exported. The Phantom Series 2 goes from September onwards on sale, and I'm quite convinced that we will see Phantom numbers flying even higher than they did in the past.
Next, the 2012 Grand Prix season is upon us. The Formula One Grand Prix season of 2012 has begun in Melbourne, Australia. Car manufacturers and drivers have a few new guidelines to follow in a highly competitive but heavily regulated sport.
During a race, I have to take many decisions within a moment. In just a split second, I have to decide how to act or even to react. If I judge just one situation wrongly, I could end up in the wall or even just crash into another car. The fight for position can lead to some pretty dangerous maneuvers. So this year, the FIA has come up with a new rule about racing battles. To defend my position, I can move from the ideal line to block a car that's trying to pass. But this season, if I do that, I can't just quickly snap back onto the ideal line afterwards. I have to leave enough space for the opponent. Basically, within one overtaking maneuver, I'm allowed to defend myself only once. It makes fighting for position very, very tactical. It's like chess, only a bit more dangerous. If you're driving on the road, you pay attention to the driving of the cars around you, and it's the same in Formula One. We have to predict what the other person is going to do, watch his line, and even analyze his driving. You have to have focus and strong mental concentration.
The team follow the TV broadcast live stream on the pit wall. They analyse TV replays and slow motions of everything that happens during the race. We pay attention to the things that Nico can't see on the track. I have his back. Via radio, the team is in touch with him all the time. It is important for the strategy and the safety of the driver to be well informed. The track and driving conditions are never static. It's always changing and it's always dynamic, as is the performance of the tyres and how they are working. On the road, you listen to the news to be informed about the traffic, the weather, road conditions and so on. In Formula One, we get all that kind of information from our screens on the pit wall. We use a number of complex computer simulations during the race to help us make informed decisions, and the pit wall is the one place where we get all that information.
Mercedes-AMG Petronas driver Michael Schumacher was the best starter in F1 in 2011, gaining a total of 40 positions. Now he explains the secrets of making a lightning start.
Well, the parade lap is obviously reasonably intense in terms of how busy you are, what you have to do. And it starts with engine gets fired on, you go for a clutch bite point check, you then do a physical start in order to see what is your grip level, everything works well, and you be ready. After this one you have a contradiction because you need to keep the engine temperature low, fuel consumption low, but at the same time you have to work your tires to warm them up, and you have to keep your brakes hot. Because I mean, the worst you can have is cold brakes, first braking, equally tires. So that's a workout that is difficult, but to be managed by us. You have intensive communication with a team that informs you about your state of brake temperature, tire pressures, and whatever information that is vital. So in this respect, you go for most of the lap on an easy way, just keeping your brakes and tires warm. For the last little bit, before you go to the grid, that's the most intense, because then you have to do your burnouts. And that means warming up your rear tire to be ready for the start, to have the tires in the optimum temperature window to have most grip available. Arriving physically on the line, you have one further action to do, and that is to make another bite point check. Then you wait for the right moment, engage your first gear, and then just focus on the lights. Wait and be ready, focus around what's going on, and let the right moment go, and then action starts.
The aim is to get a good start to the race and the new season. At Melbourne 2012, the long winter is finally over. In Australia, the venue is in the heart of the city, Albert Park. On this 5.3-kilometre circuit, fierce-out braking manoeuvres occur just metres after the start in the Jones chicane, a key spot that can determine the course of the race. After the long Brabham straight, it's back immediately into a crisp right-left combination. Attack and pull past or be outbraked yourself. The first section of the circuit is a tough test of driving skill. Now to the hardest braking point on the Albert Park circuit, which according to the Brembo engineers is ahead of Whitefoot Corner. The drivers reduce their speed by 195 kilometers an hour. In doing so, they released 2,230 kilowatts of brake energy. They've got to withstand a mighty 5.47 G and simultaneously push with 144 kilograms down on the brake. Highlights from Geneva. Geneva, Switzerland, home to the 82nd Salon International de l'Auto, where car manufacturers from around the globe flock to present their wares and reveal their latest creations in automotive development. And to balance the equation of supply and demand, the media. Mixing with the general public, representatives of motoring magazines from around the world flock to the exhibit, queuing up, eager to glimpse the future direction of motoring and hopefully pleasing their editors. The premiere of new releases into the European market is a major focus of the show. Brand names from Ferrari, Porsche and Lamborghini down to Everyman's General Motors Europe and Opel Vauxhall. This year, GM is releasing 2 new models.
We have brought with us 2 new world premieres, actually. We've brought us a small compact SUV, which is, we call it the Mucker. And then we have brought us the sportiest Astra ever. It's the Astra OPC. And this car is really emotionalizing the brand as such.
Differing territories require subtle branding differences, like the product name.
The relation between a strong motor and a strong design and a strong statement in driving dynamics, which we wanted to express by a very special and a very sophisticated name. So the car is from the outer dimension rather small, but from the inner dimension, when it relates to roominess for the customer, it is huge.
Well, we are working hard, obviously, to return the organization, the whole company, in terms of to sustainable profitability, and that's what we are doing right now. We really turn every corner and every stone in order to make the company successful for the future. And I think we have a very strong product lineup, which we are showing also here in Geneva. We are on a product offensive, and with this product offensive, we are sure to gain market share and convincing customers to buy our cars. We are all looking very positively to this alliance. GM and PSA will have a very successful future. I think we will share not only technologies and architecture, we share also on the sourcing, on the procurement of parts, and potentially also in the logistic area. So in this context, I think we will improve our cost structure, and with this, we will allowing more cars to bring it to the market in shorter time frame, and then also regaining also market strengths.
Of course, no car show would be complete without a Bugatti Veyron on display, or perhaps some pole dancing of sorts. Ferrari was there to unveil the F12 Berlinetta, a rear-wheel drive, naturally aspirated V12 with an increased compression ratio, which gives it 690 Newton-meters of torque, and, like Ferrari's Formula One engine, it has very low inertia, enabling the engine to rev rapidly. A maximum speed of 340 kilometers per hour, plus it can go from 0 to 100 in 3.1 seconds. It's built from extruded aluminium, so the bodywork is 50 kilograms lighter and 20% more rigid than the 599 GTB Fiorano. Its aerodynamic efficiency is also twice that of the 599. Of course, it comes with ceramic brakes and state-of-the-art electronic stability management. Aston Martin was not to be outshone, showcasing 8 models including the V12 Zagato and the 2012 V8 Vantage. Inspired by the 50th anniversary of the original DB4 GT, the production Zagato will have the 6-litre engine producing 510 brake horsepower and 570 Newton-meters of torque. 0 to 100 in 4.2 seconds, top speed 305 kilometers an hour. The award-winning design and engineering of this model has already been put through its paces prior to going into production, competing in the annual Nürburgring 24-hour race last year. BMW fronted with their first 4-door coupe. The 6 Series Grand Coupe is available with the inline 6-cylinder petrol or straight-six diesel for the 640i model, while the 650i has the V8 power plant producing 330 kilowatts. Mercedes have lost weight as well with their latest SL in aluminium. The SL 350 with their new V6 puts out 225 kilowatts and 370 Newton meters, while the SL 500 has the new V8 with reduced capacity but increased output of 320 kilowatts and is just slightly slower than its predecessor. Next, more highlights from Geneva. The boutique British Morgan Company has introduced 3 new models at the Geneva show, the Aero Coupe, Plus 8 and the 3.7-litre Roadster. The Aero Coupe is designed for long-distance touring. Powered by a BMW 4.8-litre V8 and a 6-speed gearbox, it is built entirely from aluminium. The interior luxury of the Aero is evident in the hand-polished ash hardwood and double-stitched leather upholstery. Finally, the reveal of the updated Seat Ibiza at Geneva represents the latest chapter in the long history of this popular car, since its forebear was first presented at the Paris Motor Show in 1984. Since its first introduction, the 4 generations of Seat's compact family car have sold around 4 million units in total, and in the process the Ibiza has become Spain's most popular model. Their latest incarnations include the hatchback and the 5-door Me City. The Ibiza has always been designed, developed and produced at Seat's facilities in Zona Franca and Martorell near Barcelona in Spain. Well, that's it for another episode of Ingenuity. Bye for now.